we got a new camera, so give me a thumbs up for the video quality, and probably not the audio quality, but on my mic turned on. Welcome back to 5 Acre Farms, guys. I'm Luke, and #1 requested video lately is a walkthrough of my breeder pens. So there's a lot to know about these guys, and we're gonna find out today if they're worth the money or if they were a big waste. So big shout out to everybody that requested this video, because I've been thinking about doing it for a while. So let's get right into it. Oh, we got a new camera. So if you guys like this video quality or this audio with the new mic, then give this video a thumbs up. Hopefully we get rid of some more of these turkeys, because these guys are getting old. But all right, let's set you guys up and talk to you guys about how our breeder pens are set up, why we set them up that way, and if they're a good choice for something that you guys want. Before we dive into the breeder pens, let's hop into the brooder building real quick and see what new chicks we just pulled out of the incubator. We had a great hatch the other day, so let's hop right in there and see what's going on. Nice and toasty in here. The new incubators are working hard for us. These are GQF 1502s. These are what we hatch out of. I really need one more because these guys are plumb full and then some. Got a ton of little button quail down there hatching. I don't know if you can see them very well in there. Some Coturnix quail, mostly button quail. The last few in there from this last hatch. But we got more quail eggs, ton of chicken eggs, duck and goose eggs, some turkey eggs, some more duck and goose eggs. We got some pheasant eggs down here. Got a little bit of everything in the incubators. And there's our little cheat sheet of how we keep track of everything. We'll do a whole video on how to incubate and how to hatch chickens, but for another video. For those of you that watch the Ultimate Brooder video, there you have it. These things are kicking butt. I haven't lost a single chick yet in these new brooders. So, extremely happy with them. Brooder #1 has Indio Gigantes and Lavender Americanas. This one's got a bunch of Seramas and Silkies. These are my world's sexiest chickens. And salmon Faverolles. We'll do a video of those next. Buff-laced Polish and French black copper Marans. Blue partridge Brahmas and the light Brahma mixes. This one's empty. That one's full of button quail and Coturnix quail. And that one's all button quail. So I put lids on these for the quail because they can fly out within a couple weeks. So I'll probably end up building the lid for these guys over here too, but I usually sell them before they start jumping out. These are my brooders over here, my off-heat brooders. And then my quail breeding tower, which I use for a brooder as well. If you guys want to see more in-depth video of the brooder building and everything that goes on in here on a daily basis, let me know. But this video is about the breeder pen, so let's go outside. Now, when we started on our journey for breeding chickens, I built a couple of these A-frame styles. And as you can see, they've served their purpose. I had 3 of them, and they're perfect for about, I don't know, two hens and a rooster, or 3 hens and a rooster, depending on the breed. But I built these out of 2x2s, treated lumber, coated chicken wire, and 30-year shingles, some plywood. They've been awesome little coops. We've got our use out of them. They have a little door back here on the back where they can lay their eggs in there. There's a couple eggs from our Coronation Sussex. So the only thing we use these for now is if we have a pair, which isn't enough to have their own breeding pen of our big breeder pens. But these worked great. You could build them for, I don't know, a couple $100, and they've served their purpose. But I needed something that was going to last a long time and something that was going to be a little more practical. So that's why I did a bunch of research and came up with the design we chose. These are the breeder pens we opted to go to, and I'm not sure they're the best option, but they're the option we went with. And there's a couple reasons why. Bear with me with the wind noise. I swear whenever I start talking, the wind picks up. But it's just another day here in Kansas, I guess. So these pens are a 6x10 footprint. And these came from Amazon. You can find them on Temu and probably like Wayfair, eBay, I don't know, a bunch of other places, Amazon. The first one I bought was a 10x20, and I used it for my meat chickens. That was great until the wind picked up, but I still have that pen, and I'll probably show you that at a later day. But I wanted to, when I decided to do breeder pens, something I wanted to stay away from wood. And if you know anything about wood, you know that it's going to eventually get wet and rot. So I wanted to do everything I could out of metal. And so these are a metal frame, a cheap conduit metal frame that all bolts together, which is convenient to an extent. And it comes with the chicken wire, it comes with the zip ties, and it comes with the tarp. Now, I think these 6x10 coops were about $150, which is not too bad. And so, things to consider with these is they're lightweight. If you do not stake them down, the wind will take them. We had one, we sat out here before we got it staked down, and it threw it into the trees, rolled it over and dented it up. We fixed it back together, and it's one of our others over here, but you got to stake them down. We use 3 foot rebar stakes. We drilled out the little, it comes with stakes that are like, you know, the little tent stakes you get for your first tent. They're junk. So we drilled out the little stake holes and put 3 foot rebar in there with a washer welded on top. And they haven't moved an inch since we've done that. But the chicken wire it comes with is garbage. The zip ties it comes with are garbage. And the tarp it comes with are garbage. Now, with that being said, is it still worth 150 bucks? Probably, but just know, whatever zip ties it comes with, throw those suckers away as soon as you get them. Go get some good thick black or white zip ties from Walmart or wherever. Don't get the cheapest zip ties you can find. Now, the tarps are garbage too. One thing to think about with these guys is when it rains or those tarps catch a lot of wind, they're just gonna rip so fast. So instead of using tarps, we opted to just use shade cloth. Now that's perfect. I think these are 50% shade cloths. Don't quote me on that, but they're a 6x8 or a 6x10, 6x9 shade cloth that we zip tied on the top of all these, and that's perfect for the summer. It allows rain to go through. It's snow, same way. If snow piles up on top, it melts through. We've never had to come out here and push snow off the top of them. The wind goes right through them, so you don't have to worry about them getting tore up too bad. I think all these shade cloths are about 3 years old, and we haven't taken them off, so they're doing good. Other than that, the instructions to put them together are convenient, and I think they're still worth the $150. Now, one thing I would suggest is down here toward the bottom, and I'll just grab you guys and bring it closer. It has some brackets to stiffen it up. So down here toward the bottom, it comes with these support brackets. Now, there's only a couple different places that sell them with those support brackets. I would suggest finding those. That'll stiffen up this whole coop a bunch, just having those little triangle support brackets on all 4 corners. You'll also notice I put a piece of tin in between all the coops, and that serves the purpose whenever you have a rooster next to another rooster, then they're going to want to fight. So these are 6-foot pieces of tin, and I think they're 27 inches tall, whatever the corrugated metal is, but that makes a huge difference because these roosters will fight if they can see each other. So that's a must-have. I've replaced most of these zip ties. I don't think there's any original zip ties left on these things. I guess here's one. So once the sun hits it, they break so fast. I can just take it with my finger and break it. These things are just garbage. And so they just get so brittle in the sun. Next thing you know, you have your chicken wire coming off just like that. So now I'm gonna have to come back and fix that. But over time, I've been coming back and fixing all these, replacing the zip ties. You can see the shade cloth in here. Works great. Puts plenty of shade in there pretty much any time of the day and does a great job. As you can see, now that you have the pen figured out, the next thing is where the chicken's gonna sleep. These are made for hiding your trash cans at like an HOA or a housing addition or something. They're made just the right height to be able to put a trash can in, and they open right up, and I put a divider wall in between. So let me turn you around here. So they come with a little latch. These are all bolt together too. Hey ladies. So I built a 2x4 perch on each side, and then I just use a piece of scrap wood, zip tie it up so the chickens can't get across and see each other, and I cut a hole. Now I don't open and close these guys every day. I leave that hole open, but most of the chickens just lay in there. This door has a latch on the top and the bottom, and you can see over here, one of my ladies is laying an egg in there. But this door has a latch on the top and bottom, and we can just open that door and have access to them. So if we come into the coop, here's the latch. I usually put a little bungee on them just in case, because as you stretch the wire, it'll start pulling these two apart. But I use a little bungee latch if I need it. Come in. These are my Seramas. But here's kind of what it looks like on the outside. I just used some 1x4s, pressed it up against the wire, and self-tapping screws, and that works great. And the metal divider, you can kind of see right down through all the pins there. The only downside is I parked these under some trees, and so the tree branches, especially off this dead tree, which needs to go. Tree branches fall, land on it, but other than that, it's nice to have a little extra shade when the trees do have leaves on them. But all in all, I think these coops have done a great job. They've served the purpose that I needed, as well as these coops. Now the coops kind of suck to get in and out of, but they're all metal, so they won't ever rot. And that's the perks of them, is these will essentially last me as long as I want them to. Well, let's do a quick walkthrough of the breeds I got in here. Show you guys what we breed. There were several different options we looked at when it came to a water setup for these pens. We have hydrants on both sides of these pens, so we thought about running some type of water line that had a gravity float for each and every one of them. The problem is, you have one failure in that line, you're gonna flood pens, or once you get a break, all the birds below it aren't gonna get water. And since I'm not out here all day, every day watching this, that could become an issue. So we opted to just use the 5-gallon waters, and so far it's worked. Most of these pens have 4 or 5 hens and 1 rooster in them, and with that 5-gallon water, it can go for about every Sunday we fill them up, so they usually don't run out. So we decided to use the rubber dishes for their food, and as you can see here, the problem with using these rubber dishes is they'll get in their food dishes and kick out all their food, which isn't too big of a problem because they'll clean it up eventually. But I think we're gonna have to switch over to something they can just stick their head in and eat out of instead of being able to get into their feeder. So that's still a work in progress. Same with the water dishes, which is nice. In the winter we use these black tubs for water dishes in the winter because you can flip them over and kick them out, and they work perfect. We put all these big gravity waters in the garage for the winter. So these are my Suramas, Malaysian Suramas, world's smallest chicken. I got 3 roosters and I think 5 or 6 hens in there. They lay good. They're cute, fun, whatever you want to say. Right next to them are my French Black Copper Marans. If you don't know anything about French Black Copper Marans, they lay a dark chocolate egg. Let me open up their thing here and see if... Oh yeah. You see how... There's a couple light ones in there, but for the most part they're pretty dark compared to a normal egg. One of the downsides. Kind of a pain to close sometimes. But French Black Copper Marans, those are a hot ticket item. My Blue Partridge Brahmas, which are a fairly rare breed of chicken. The rooster is just gorgeous. The hens are pretty too. But they're very docile chickens. One of my favorite. Very big bird, cold hardy. Next up are my Buff Lace Polish. There's my rooster. And then I got a couple hens over here. Some of them are frizzle, which makes them extra goofy. Let's see if I can open the pin here. There you go. Aren't those the goofiest looking things? Those buff-laced Polish frizzle. There's some smooths in there too, so they throw a little bit of each. They're a hot ticket item here on the farm. These are my light Brahmas. This is kind of a project pen. I have a mixed breed rooster, Brahma rooster in there on top of some light Brahma hens. Excited to see what those turn out to be. My Salmon Faverolles, which is another one of my favorite breeds. These are about the most docile breed of chicken you can ask for. If you're ever wanting a breed of chicken that's super friendly and chill, don't put them with any breeds that are semi-aggressive. But as you can see, the rooster doesn't look anything really like the hens, which makes them feather sexable at a few days old. The males will have black wingtips and the females will have brown. So super chill birds. They got the poofy cheeks and the beard, the muffs in the beards, and they got 5 toes, which is kind of like the silkies. Fun breed. My Lavender Americanas. My rooster over here. But these girls are pretty cool. Anything lavender sells real well for us, and the fact that they lay a blue egg helps. These are true Americanas, not Easter eggers. But yep, I got I think 4 hens and a rooster in there. My last group down here is my Indio Gigantes, which are the world's tallest chicken. They're pretty goofy looking. The 2 roosters are out here because all the hens are trying trying to go broody on me. Let me see if I can. Yeah, all the hens are in here trying to go broody. But they get up to like 3 foot tall. They're pretty cool. I had a little space left over for these 10-foot long pins. So I just kind of threw together another little pin down here. I have a trio of millefleurs in there. This is our original coop when we lived in town. This is what started it all. It's the only coop out here that has an automatic door on it. But these are all my Selkies. They have probably a 25 by 25 area. And there's about 15 of those. But yep, they just get a food dish and a water dish. And then the last two of my breeder pens are over here. This is a project I'm working on, which will be probably the next video I put out. World's Sexiest Chicken, so look out for those. And then this group over here is my olive eggers. So to make an olive egger, you gotta take an Americana or a blue egg layer, which is what all these hens are. They lay a blue egg, and then that is a French Black Copper Moran rooster as a breeder. And so the French Black Copper Moran lays a dark chocolate egg. You put it over a blue egg layer, and the chick that it hatches will be a light green egg layer. That's considered an F1 olive egger. To get a F2 olive egger, you take that chick, breed it back to a French Black Copper Moran or a Welsummer or something, and that gets you an F2 olive egger. Then you can do it one more time and get an F3. But we stick with the F1 olive eggers. They work out real well. But yeah, so if you just want to do 2 different breeds to hatch from, easy way to keep them separated, 1 coop, 2 pens, I think this is kind of a pretty good setup. You can buy it all, you don't have to build anything, you just have to assemble. These coops come in a flat box. I think I got them at Home Depot. I'm trying to remember how much they were, maybe 180 bucks, 200 bucks, something like that. Trash compartment or trash can bins. They're under the outdoor storage section. But like I said, if you're just wanting to do a couple pens to separate a couple different breeds and you don't think you're capable of building anything out of wood or welding or anything like that, I think these pens are a pretty good option. You can buy them, get them all shipped straight to your house, and put them together for a fraction of the cost of what you can make something big. Now, I will say that it's fairly cheap, so expect semi-cheap results. Now, with that being said, I've already hatched enough eggs out of these breeder pens and all these breeder pens behind me to pay for them all 2 or 3 times over. So with that being said, they were definitely worth the money. But I'm trying to think here. So if I had, let's just say 200 bucks into the coop part, and that house is 2 different breeds, and then 150 bucks into each pen, that's 500 bucks into 2 breeds. So, you know, that's, if they're purebred chicks, then you can now sell purebred chicks for $5 to $10 a piece, depending on the breed, and pay those guys off pretty quick in 1 year. So, other than that, I hope if you guys have questions, comment them down below. And I think I covered about everything. I'm trying to think of anything else that maybe would have came up. One thing, I should say this because y'all are gonna harp on me if you've watched my original videos. Stay away from chicken wire at all costs. Chicken wire is garbage. Predators have and can get into these. So, if you think you're gonna buy these to be predator proof, they are not. Not with chicken wire. So, especially this cheap Chinese chicken wire. This stuff is super thin and flexible. The biggest problem I have with these pens is when I have roosters out here in my chicken yard they try to pick fights with all the roosters inside the pens. And so, let me turn you around here. As you can see, a lot of these pens are cobbled together pretty heavily because the roosters will sit here and fight each other through the fence. And they start breaking all the zip ties and tearing holes in it. Each one of them seems to have a hole somewhere. Extra zip ties down there. Especially on this one. I've had to fix this stretch here so many times, especially down here. And so what I think I'm going to do is get a 4-foot roll of hardware cloth and just put the hardware cloth over the chicken wire, and then once I figure out the height, I'll take the chicken wire out. You kind of only have the zip tie option to connect it, but that hardware cloth will make a huge difference, at least on the front side where all the roosters fight each other, and that's usually where all the predators become an issue. So I think you can get away with the chicken wire as long as it's not on ground level. Now on the back side, we have a 2x4 woven wire fence where our pigs are, and so that keeps predators from getting in on that side. And we're fortunate, we don't really have raccoons out here. We're not really close to the creeks and the rivers and a bunch of trees. We're kind of out here on the plains, so raccoons aren't a huge issue, but possums and skunks get into these things all the time to get the eggs. So my next step is, and I should have done this from the beginning, but put hardware cloth along the front, keep the roosters from being able to fight each other, and keep anything from getting in. Another one of my big issues is my piglets. They're still small enough to get out of their yard, and if they can't find food, they'll just blow right through this chicken wire and to get into the chicken food. So I'm always fighting these little piglets and this chicken wire. So use hardware cloth whenever you can. But for the most part, these breeder pens have been awesome. And I think if I ever go a different route, it's going to be with some of like the dog kennels, not the chain link ones, but the welded dog kennels. And I don't know, either a shipping container. My original plan was to build a building here and then have runs off of it for each breed. When I started pricing all that out, it was going to take me a while to pay it off. These things got paid off the first year and then some, and I've paid these things off 2 or 3 times over now with chicks and being able to keep all my breeds separate. So other than that, you can always build these little A-frames that I started with. There's a ton of different options for breeder pens, but build something that's going to last, build something that's going to be predator proof or piglet proof, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. This is all I have for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about these, comment down below. If you aren't subscribed yet, go hit that subscribe button. And we got a ton more chicken content coming up. Pigs, homesteading, farming, how to make money raising chickens, you name it. Comment down below what you want to see videos of. We've been doing this for several years, raising chickens and selling them. Meat chickens, layer chickens, fancy chickens, fluffy chickens, turkeys, guineas, pigeons, pheasants, quail, heritage hogs, Texas Longhorns. If there's a video you guys want to see, comment down below. We'll put it on the list to do. So other than that, we love you guys. See you guys next time here at 5 Acre Farms.